Greetings. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sean Carmody. I've been with United Parcel Service for 30 years now. I'd like to say basically I've grown up at UPS. That's quite a lifetime. I spent time as a package handler, and that's how our current CEO started with the company, as did our founder. Jim Casey started very much at the beginning, and many of our CEOs have a story of starting from within the company. I became a part-time supervisor. The idea when I started with UPS, I chose working at this company I knew nothing about at 18 years old. Imagine not knowing about parcel delivery or UPS or FedEx for that matter at 18. Totally different world 30 years ago. But I thought if I became a part-time supervisor while I was earning my way through college, perhaps I'd have something to add to my resume to go with that college education. So I did that for a number of years, almost 7 years, working part-time. And then I became a driver service provider after graduating from college. Why? Because I could earn just as much money. I was already vested in a retirement plan. I had benefits, vacation time accrued. It made sense to stay, was my final analysis. And then after doing that for nearly a decade, I became an on-car supervisor. That's someone who supervises drivers. Okay, now that is a vast amount of my experience that I'll be reflecting upon today. I've had a couple stints in human resources in the safety department, as well as I had the opportunity to become a corporate facilitator working for UPS, teaching the Intergrad curriculum, which is our cutting edge way of training the next generation of driver service providers. I'm a husband, I'm an alpaca rancher here in Monroe, Washington, and I'm presently developing my school skills with Amberton University, studying their Master's of Science Training and Development. I intend to graduate in February of next year. I'm contemplating that next career, and it's one of the reasons why I continue to develop myself, and I am very passionate about training. Here's a quick photo of me. I tried to pick a nice one. This one shows me kind of with a big nose, but evergreen trees in the background, as I'm from Washington State, the Evergreen State. Okay, an overview of today's presentation. We're going to talk about the key concepts associated with transformational leadership. We're going to provide some evidence of transformational leadership. I'm going to give you some examples, not only from those years of experience at UPS, but right out of the pages that define our culture, that explain what our strategy is and what it is we're trying to achieve. We're going to talk about some research and some implications for talent and development professionals, and I'm going to reflect on this deep dive in this study with you as we wrap up at the end and providing some conclusions. All right, so how do we change behavior, and why do we need to change behavior? Well, I'm going to show you a video here, and it's kind of graphic, but it's telling in my mind, and I hope it is for you too.
This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend. She ends up with permanent brain damage.
Say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
No seatbelt, no excuse.
As the video illustrates, failing to utilize a seatbelt has deadly consequences. Individuals make a difference. Changing behavior requires effort on the part of parents and leaders alike. Until followers choose to make safe choices, such as wearing the seatbelt while traveling, there will continue to be a need for transformational change. When people recognize their value and interest in making safe by choice principles, then the efforts required will not be so burdensome on parents and leaders alike. So what is the meaning of transformational leadership? Well, if we take a look at the text from Northhouse, transformational leadership is the process whereby a person engages with others and creates a connection that raises the level of motivation and morality in both the leader and the follower. I can relate to this. I know that I am a better person having been a supervisor at UPS, having put myself in leadership positions, having had to apologize and rebuild bridges burnt between people. I learn and grow in a leadership role. And sometimes my best connections come from that strife, from that difficult communications. When people see my heart and when I'm true, then we start to form connections. And as we form connections, we're able to move forward collectively. All right, so what else did Northhouse say? He said, this type of leader is attentive to the needs and motives of followers and tries to help followers reach their fullest potential. So we're gonna touch on that theme. As we go on. And then what did Burns say? He's a sociologist, and he links leadership and followers in his classic work. So the foundations of this concept of transformational leadership really go back into the late 70s. Okay, so why do we need transformational leaders? Well, to maintain followers, because turnover is costly. Now, the higher the level of the employee, the greater the cost. So an example, at UPS, when an operations manager retires, traditionally an operations supervisor promotes to fill the vacancy. Well, then somebody needs to fill the supervisor's position. And if that is going to be a driver service provider, as I promoted from being a driver to a supervisor, then what are the training needs required for that former driver service provider to be qualified and productive in his or her new role as a supervisor? Let alone the manager. What is the learning curve? What mistakes will be made? There's costs associated with those mistakes and that learning curve. So we need transformational leaders because we need to continue to develop followers so they can step into roles as people retire or leave the organization for whatever reason. Experience, it has implications, and the lack of experience can easily spin an organization out of control. Okay, so what do others say about transformational leadership? Here, Bob Lavga says that transformational leaders direct and inspire employees' efforts by raising awareness of the importance of organizational values and outcomes. Also, he says this means integrating public service motivation into the ways in which we recruit, manage, and develop and retain talent. So recruiting, managing, developing, and retaining talent, those are all expense functions. If we can maintain our existing folks, if we can develop the potential of the people that come to work every day, we can reduce expenses. If we reduce expenses, we improve profits. Okay. According to Lavga, engagement requires a few things. Employees must link their work and the organization's mission. They must take pride in the work as well as the organization. They must feel satisfied with their supervisors and leaders. Employees must have the opportunity to perform well. They want to be set up for success. I tell you, my driver service providers are frustrated when they can't get in their package car and drive out of the building and get to work. The thing that they hate the most is having to load their own package car. And why? Because it was supposed to already be done by the work group that came in before them. The part-time employees, those package handlers that come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, they have a job to do. It's to load the cars. Well, when they're not set up for success, when they can't start because the shift before them can't get done, because you all keep ordering online, our employees get frustrated because they can't perform well because they're not set up for success. We're in a huge transition period as we build out capacity to meet the changing needs of global commerce. Well, employees, they want to be able to grow personally and professionally. And as I've told you, I came to UPS because I saw the opportunity to grow with an organization, and that's a core tenet of who UPS is and why people come. Okay? As a supervisor, since 2004, working full-time in that capacity, I've had multiple job assignments which have helped to develop and shape me and keep me interested to retain me as an asset that can continue to produce for the organization. Well, there's more. Lavga says not only should they be satisfied, but they should be satisfied with recognition. And we like to say, what gets recognized gets repeated. Employees must feel as though they have input to decision making. Don't we all want to have a say? Yeah. And then finally, one of the last things he says is that engaged employees will recommend their employer as an employer of choice. And this is why we all see this in large organizations where these employee opinion surveys are conducted, because it matters. All right, so let's do a somewhat brief dive into UPS's enterprise strategy. And the reason I bring this up is because our strategy supports our mission, and our mission supports our enduring values. So what is our strategy? It's to create value, to transform, and to invest to grow. So we'll look at some bullet points here. And you can assess, do you see transformational concepts in the example I'm providing you? So create value for customers using our superior portfolio of logistics capabilities to demonstrate how the power of logistics can create a competitive advantage for our customers, to offer products and services that expand our customers' access to global markets, and to configure our broad portfolio of solutions for targeted industries, offering industry-leading technology that simplifies and improves our customers' business processes. Continuing that transform portion to continually transform to strengthen our leadership position, deliver an exceptional customer experience, apply marketing and sales excellence to drive profitable growth, and to enhance performance through quality, efficiency, and technology. So UPS continues to invest in technology so that we can accomplish what our customers want us to do, from delivering their package to the preferred location. Maybe you want to interact with the delivery process and you want your package taken to the back door, or even for UPS to put it in your garage, and you want to provide us an access code to your garage and know that that access code is protected. These things are possible. Maybe you need to sign for your package, but you don't want to travel to the UPS facility when you could you could travel to a UPS store in your neighborhood. Technology enables us to make those connections, to get those deliveries to you where you want them. And then finally, that invest to grow. Invest to accelerate growth in key markets and new opportunities. So our strategy is to accelerate growth by leveraging our global network and scale, to build our infrastructure and presence in key emerging markets. UPS operates in over 220 countries, to expand our offerings of integrated logistics solutions. Now I want to transition to a sensitive subject, but an example of transformational leadership in that it has and demonstrates concern for followers. So here's a letter to Sean. Dear Sean, I know how important a financial secure retirement is to you and your family. At UPS, we're committed to offering competitive and comprehensive benefits. After thoughtful evaluation, we're changing the way we deliver retirement benefits to our union-free UPSers. Great care was taken to balance the effect of this change on our people with the right outcomes for our business. That's why we're telling you about this change more than 5 years in advance to help you plan. This change will not take effect until January 1, 2023. Any benefits you earned before will be preserved. So this demonstrates that concern for followers. It's attentive to their needs. It's mindful of their desire to improve their lives and concern for the future. And these are all hallmarks of transformational leadership. A small example to share with you. Defining transformational leadership. Well, Hinker and Sontag in their studies, they had this to say about defining transformational leadership. That transformational leadership involves behaviors that encourage employees to take a different view on how they do their work and that challenge them to try out new approaches. My folks have to try out new approaches every single day. A road's closed. How am I going to get the route delivered? How am I going to get those packages to the customer? If the construction is from 7 in the morning till 6 in the evening because they're repaving on Locust Way, then I have to route my solution to deliver those packages after 6. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck in traffic and I won't get done and I won't get to go home to my family. Transformational leadership empowers people to let their creativity loose and encourages them to find that creativity to be a solutions provider. Transformational leadership motivates employees by providing its desirable vision every package, every day, expressing high performance expectations, you will get done, you will do it safely, and providing individualized support. This is what I recommend. This is how I can help you. Let's communicate throughout the day and see how things are going. Now, transactional leadership, as defined, is different. Transactional leadership is an exchange-focused type of leadership. I'll give you a paycheck, and you'll do as I ask or tell. A politician will ask for a vote in exchange for supporting your interests. A teacher provides a grade in exchange for work completed. These are power-based transactional exchanges and common. Think about it. You order a meal, you receive food, and then you provide this service provider with a tip. There's little concern in transactional relationships for moral development, for inspiring one's best work, or for assisting the follower's development potential. Okay? It's just not as fun. It's bland. It's route. It's not dynamic as transactional leadership is. And transactional leadership has these characteristics. There's a contingent reward associated with it. There's constructive transactions. It's the management by exception. You fail to do this, you're getting a warning letter. It's active and it's passive, and it's about correcting transactions. It's really not leading in the same way as transformational is. And then the next, these are the three components that Bass talked about. Finally, is the laissez-faire style of leadership. And I'll show you this on a continuum in just a moment. But laissez-faire leadership, different from transactional and certainly different from transformational. This is the absence of leadership, according to Bass's theory. The leader takes a hands-off, let things ride type approach. The leader abdicates responsibility, delays decisions, gives no feedback, and makes little effort to help followers satisfy their needs. A leader is detached and disengaged with employees. And this is from Northhouse. Now here, let's take a look at that continuum. So in the continuum, you have transformational leadership on the left and some key factors. Those factors are idealized influence, also known as charisma, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized concern. Transactional leadership has those factors we just talked about, and laissez-faire is what it is. It's not leadership. So we're not going to spend any time talking about how not to be leaders. Now, what does transformational leadership accomplish? Well, in Henker and Sontag's work, the hypothesis was that transformational leadership is positively related to creativity, and another hypothesis was that a promotion focus is positively related to employee creativity. What did they find? They found that transformational leadership is positively related to a promotion focus, which in turn is linked to increased creativity as an outcome, both directly and indirectly via engagement in the different stages of the creative process. The promotion focus is associated with a higher engagement in the creative process. Promotion-focused employees think of a problem from multiple perspectives. They consider solutions found in other areas. Results reveal indirect relations between transformational leadership and creativity. So again, I go back to why I started with UPS 30 years ago last month. They promote from within. Now, there are some transformational leaderships. The first one is the idealized influence factor, also known as the charisma factor. Leaders who demonstrate idealized attributes and idealized behaviors earn credit with and respect from followers. They do this by showing concern for their followers' needs, by talking about their most important values and needs. Transformational leaders make connections, winning the hearts and minds of followers. At UPS, leaders have a chance every day to talk with their work groups at what we call a PCM, which stands for pre-work communication meeting. These quick talks are expensive but necessary for our continued success. Not just a tradition, but a valuable tool to influence behaviors. Idealized influence has other factors. So there's an emotional aspect where connections occur. There's the role model for followers to emulate. As an on-car supervisor, I'm literally out of the office 4 days out of 5. I'm in the field working with my folks, sometimes side by side for the whole day. Quite often, many times, side by side. Sometimes I get to touch a couple people a day, but I'm out there emulating the right behaviors. And then when you have idealized influence, also known as charisma, you're going to be respected and trusted by your followers if you're authentic and if you're genuine. The second factor is an attributional component. It's a behavioral component. Researcher John Pubic, in studying lower ranking followers utilizing surveys, concluded support was found for ethical leadership as a mediating effect on follower effective commitment. He also found that ethical leadership has organizational commitment, which is about retaining your workforce, especially after investing in hiring, training, and developing talent. So follower perceptions matter. Followers attribute leadership characteristics based on their perceptions. Followers observe leader behaviors, and this makes up this second component. Essentially, the charisma factor describes special people who others want to follow. Think of examples that come to mind for you. One example might be Nelson Mandela. He was a person who inspired an entire continent, and some might say the world. Inspirational factor. So this factor, inspired leadership, which attracts followers to support organizational objectives. They are often characterized by emotional appeals. Symbols may be involved. Team spirit and cooperation are emphasized. Providing meaning is sometimes challenging at UPS when a driver selfishly sees just the number of packages to be delivered and the subsequent length of his or her workday. UPS drivers often work 9.5 or more hours each day. Management works even longer days. Inspirational motivation provides meaning, enables global commerce, or even Prime Week. Being part of a profitable company which returns profits through pay raises and the maintenance of benefits. But at some point, people just want to go home to their families, and they will have they want to have a personal life. This is where you have to inspire folks. All right, I want to give you an example of inspiration. Here's the partnership example. This comes from our founder, Jim Casey. This is what he said about partners. And you know, wherever you go, sometimes you hear the word, well, we call our employees associates. At UPS, in management, we talk about being partners. And this is what Jim had to say about partnership. And Jim, in my mind, was definitely a transformational leader. Here's what he said. To correctly describe a United Parcel Service partner, the calendar of time would have to be reversed to completely capture what was in the hearts and minds of our company's founders and early pioneers. A UPS partner feels this spirit, yet finds difficulty in trying to fit words to properly convey and perpetuate the dreams and ideals of people of high motives and honest hearts. This, therefore, is a modest attempt to remind our present partners of some of these qualities that must be acquired, maintained, and preserved by each and every partner. I do not work for anyone in our company. I work with my partners and with everyone else in United Parcel Service. We are not merely co-workers in our company, but we are friends working together toward a common goal. I work for the success of the entire company rather than my own personal gain or advantage. I give the benefit of my own knowledge and experience to each of my partners. I want to help them, and I know that they will help me. To me, service comes first. I am dedicated to serving others, all of our people, all of our customers, all of our business contacts, and all of the people in our community. I perform this act of service with sincerity and honest purpose. The financial stability and the future profitable success of our company are assured when my dedication to service is performed with the thought of giving rather than receiving. I believe in the policies of the United Parcel Service. I know what they are. I know what they mean. I adhere to them and administer them to the best of my ability. Being a partner is a way of life. When I was chosen to become a partner, I knew my future was ordained. There is no other path for me. I must continually earn my right to this partnership. My continuance as a partner is annually reaffirmed after my efforts and my contribution as a partner has been evaluated. If my partnership status is renewed, I know that this has happened through the effort and results obtained in the performance of my specific responsibilities and in my overall performance as a partner. I must constantly strive towards better personal performance. As I grow in my job, I know that the responsibilities for new partners are occurring. Just as I was at one time a prospective partner, I must go forward and lead and assist our new partners assuming their proper role as a true partner. I have a voice in determining the future course of our company. The management climate in our company is such that I can and should speak out on matters that pertain to our common welfare. I know that I will be heard. I know that my comments will be treated with respect. Throughout the years of this partnership, I look with confidence towards my personal well-being. I know that as the company grows and prospers, the financial future of my family and my loved ones is assured. I pledge now and for the future to always be worthy of the trust and confidence of my fellow partners. These and other qualities of a partner are my guide for now and for my future. My adherence to these guidelines can well be my legacy for the newer partners to come. And back to it. Intellectual stimulation, the third factor in transformational leadership. Leaders encourage followers' creativity, not just rule following, and they support out-the-box thinking. Okay, you might not think of a UPS driver as being creative, but you'd be mistaken. Imagine your normal route to work, school, friend's house. It's blocked by construction. Now you have time-sensitive deliveries. A driver service provider encounters situations like this every day. How do I accomplish the work assigned? Or I'm delivering this barbecue grill to the third floor of an apartment building. How do I get that done? The answers are simple, but the solutions are unique and they require intellect. Driving time and miles cut into delivery time or moving packages off the truck. Soon we will employ adaptive routing solutions in real time that help driver service providers figure these things out. But in the meantime, we need intelligent people in these roles, and that's why they get paid really quite well. It's because a good service provider makes the job look easy, but so many decisions are happening every single second. When they're driving, they need to be fully engaged. When they're looking for the package in the car, they need to be fully engaged. When they're walking to and from the house, they need to be engaged in the moment and focused on the future. And finally, the fourth factor individualized concern, the supportive factor in which leaders act as coaches or advisors, listening to their employees and facilitating follower development. Delegation is used as a tool by leaders to develop skills and abilities of their followers. In my operation, we have over 100 employees. My direct work group has a third of that entire force. Each person is unique. They have their own personality. They have individualized needs, wants, and desires. They have different levels of experience and capabilities. Some are less motivated than others. Since each largely works unsupervised throughout the day, they must be coached and motivated as individuals. I touch base with them as a group in the morning. I interact with them as individuals. Individualized consideration means exactly that. You have to treat them as individuals. If you don't, you're not going to be successful. Okay, so here we are. Why is transformational leadership important? Simply put, style matters. Leadership style, that is. Results matter. We get paid for results, or we get paid for performance. It depends on what your role is. Transformational leadership influences followers through the development of a collective vision, inspiring all parties to look beyond their self-interest for the betterment of the organization and the communities they serve. At UPS, we value safety, the safety of our people and that of the general public. We know that when our employees value their own safety, they share these values with their family and friends. Keeping everyone safe enables us to continue to work and earn. Inspiring followers to adopt best practices and change behaviors requires engaging people, and transformational leadership is the way to do it. Now, recommendations and conclusions. Leaders, we need to listen. We need to invest in both messaging and communications as our organizations continue to grow and transform. What can you do? You can always seek to improve your listening skills. You can clarify, did I hear that right? Put yourself in leadership positions, supervisory positions, mentoring roles. Challenge yourself to grow and accept responsibility for more than just your actions, and you might be able to utilize transformational leadership skills. Organizations, like people, they never arrive at their intended destination, but rather continue to develop and transform to meet the growing needs of customers, stakeholders, and employees as their mission continues to evolve. Engage in personal and professional development, as you are hopefully right now if you're one of my fellow students reviewing this presentation. Avoid apathy and exhibiting minimum commitment to one's church, to one's employer, certainly to family. These are recommendations. And finally, remember, followers don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. Transformational leadership requires followers' discretionary and transformative efforts. They must be earned. They're given. Be mindful of what you write and what you say. Jim Casey's words about partnership live on in the culture he helped create. Every CEO since Jim at UPS has left the company with a new legacy and a legacy book. And this helps guide our future generations and sustain the culture that was built before we arrived. What will be your legacy? Well, thank you, my fellow students. Thank you, Dr. Diane Sanchez, for this challenging assignment. I appreciate learning new things, and creating this PowerPoint presentation and the technological side of it was certainly a challenge for me. The research that I did helped broaden my understanding of what transformational leadership is and what it isn't, and helped validate my experience.